Gerry, in terms of this under-16 as well, of course, for many of them a very important time coming up. Can you tell me a bit about what the latest is with them?
They are all now currently with Pete and the 17s. As I said, we've had 3 or 4 Cat 1 fixtures already. Yeah. So they've been with the 18s now, or what's remaining of the 18s in that kind of training group. They are now pretty much 18s. They've had their scholarships, they've been offered, they've accepted. It's now for them playing with the 18s, get used to this 6 months before the next Merit League starts at the start of next year, and concentrate on their exams and stuff and getting that done and really focus on that. If they need any extra time off, for example, they're getting that to go and do their exams, any extra revision needed. So at the moment, preparation for next year and make sure they get good exams so that keep them with the future when they're finished their football career if they need anything.
Yeah, and in terms of the second part of the Merit League season with the under-18s, it's when the league splits, isn't it? And so you'll be playing against a lot of teams in what I'd imagine going to be very competitive affairs in the second half of the season.
Yeah, something we're very much looking forward to. Playing the likes of Gillingham, Leyton Orient, Barnet, who have joined the group that we're in, so they'll be really good competitive fixtures. It's a great opportunity for us to carry on the work that we're doing with the players, like Gerry's alluded to. Our 17s also train on a Thursday night together, so we're getting some really good time and good work into the players as a group. So it'll be really exciting to see how they get on in that league when hopefully most teams will be under 17s as well. This group that will play now has pretty much been our youth team for the whole season, which is credit to the work that's been happening throughout the academy, because we're able to put our 15 and 16-year-olds into the youth team, which then allows the second years and some first years to go out and work experience. So be a great test, some new fixtures, some new challenges. The group's also going on tour together to Seville to play 2 games out there, so some exciting times to support those players in their journeys, but also a really good opportunity to carry on supporting the second years as they enter the last sort of 3 or 4 months with us, and whatever their pathway looks like afterwards, whether that be professional contract, employment, university, it's really important that we carry on supporting them as well.
It sounds like plans are well underway for the under-18s for next season already. In terms of your under-16s for next season and the second half of the season, are there plans in place as well to kind of progress into 15s, any potential new recruits as well?
So what will happen now, as the 16s are gone with Pete, the 15s will basically all come up and they'll now be the under-16 age group. So what happens is with the second Merit League, we go along, we'll travel with the 18s on the bus, we'll go and play the same teams that they're playing, we'll play their under-16s. So a lot of teams will then just bump up the 15s, and hopefully it's the same age groups that we're working with. Some teams will keep the 16s as 16s, so that'll be a good challenge for the 15s to step up, and a good experience for them for next year at this time when they're now 16s and they've got their scholarships and they've been moved up to the 18s. So it helps in the challenge for us. The older age groups we play against, the better, because it gives these boys a taste of what they're going to get next year. And we take pretty much the full squad of 15s, and we go any 16s that aren't playing with Pete, that are coming back from injury, anything like that, will play with us. So it gives us an extra game and extra challenge for the boys to get back. But at the moment, all 15s are now pretty much 16s.
And in terms of that process of your 16s becoming into the under-18 setup, I'm sure in many ways it's been quite clear, because of course they've been involved in the under-18s all season, which ones were going to be making that step. But how does that process sort of evolve in terms of your decision making and who makes that step up?
Basically, it's been the ones that have been performing. What it has been from the start of the season, Pete will say, I need a left back, I need a right back, somebody's injured. So that's the way we've drip fed them from the start of the season. It's been based on position, and then Pete will ask me who I think deserves that spot. So we tell them on a Saturday when they're with 16s, each game counts, because you're now looking to go and play with the 18s. If there's an injury at 18s, you're the one that steps up. So you've got to be prepared and you've got to be performing, because when Pete comes to me and says, I need a centre back, I need a left back, then I'll give him whoever's playing best and whoever's performing, and whoever I think is up to that challenge at that point. So that's the way we've done it from the start of the season. But now it's a case of everybody's in the one squad. As we said, we've trained together a couple of times, we've played some friendlies against Cat 1 and 2 teams, and now it's a case of there's 16 of them now. So it'll be who's the best starting 11 for us to win the game, as over when the Merit League starts.
Yeah, and in terms of the ones who've been offered scholarships, is it 10 who've been offered, and there's also someone coming in externally as well. So how do you recruit externally when, of course, you've got quite a large chunk of the squad coming through our own ranks?
The external one really comes from us looking at different players. Similar in terms of lots of phone calls all the time from other academies, agents, release players, things like that. It's really important that we keep our ear to the ground around what's coming. But something that Gerry will speak about, it's really important that we do offer internally, because it does show a pathway which is really clear. That's also helped by the fact that our young players are getting either opportunities at men's football or with the first team. Obviously the likes with Grant, Tom Chamberlain, Aaron, Evans Harriott, Callum Ebanks, Freddie Lapworth to have all been in the first team squad this year as scholars shows that there's a pathway, so we need to offer internally. However, players need to be good enough, and again, credit to the academy staff as a whole, the under-16s that are coming through. We've been able to offer a lot of scholarships this year because that's a good group for us who have done very well throughout all of their work, and it was important that got rewarded.